Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Into the Pit. I have here Miss Lady Aubree. How are you today, ma'am?
Hello. Thank you for having me.
It is our pleasure. Welcome to the show. Let's get to know you before we get into what you are known for. So tell us where you're from and where you grew up, all that good stuff.
Okay. I was born and raised from Las Vegas, Nevada. I have been pretty much particular in forms into the psychic abilities, mediumship, and also as far as any particular gift, especially as an empath by birth, such birthright. Came from my family of Raleigh, North Carolina. And then it stemmed out where it's basically kind of skipped generation with, of course, naturally my mom and other people. But with me, I'm pretty much the torch that's pretty much been. And then my platform started with a particular group that they will find and see on Instagram. It was my platform, my very first to read from and to help others. I'm also a Reiki master. I'm also a mother of twin boys. I'll be 22, Noah and Jordan, on October. No, excuse me, March. That's terrible if I don't know my baby's name. March 30th, 1999, they were born.
It's
Gosh,
parental brain syndrome. That's what it is.
I know, right? It's just like that. Also, because they're millennials, they don't call mom anymore. So, well, hey.
No.
My gifts are very, I should say, unique like any other person's. It's quite an interesting thing to be able to have such abilities, and actually, it took me actually quite a while to catch up to that as far as anything else. Meaning, basically realizing who I am authentically, and realizing that what it's not a game. It's not something that you should be ashamed of. Right. Because my background first started, as you clearly know, we've talked about Roman Catholic. And now they're saying it's no, it's a sin, whatever. Mm-hmm. I feel very, very fortunate to be with a platform that has been a client for so many years. And they turned around to me, my own readers, said, "Do you need a job?" And I turned around and I said, "Yeah." And I thought that was so cool, because usually I would never think of helping others with tarot, oracle, or anything else of the public until they pulled me in. And then I had my ancestors and everything else behind me at that time of the session. And they said, "Yeah, bring her in. And then it just started to unfold. My experience is 25 years of experience. Outside of that too is also I work with tools, divination tools, but also I work sometimes without. Not only just do just the typical basic readings like love, money, worthy, as far as just regular questions, but I'm also a little deeper than that as a Scorpio, born October 26th. I always feel, of course, the veil very thinning.
Yes.
As a Scorpio, I have to speak out for myself and the rest of us. Just got to put it out there. We are misunderstood. We love hard, and we feel or sense or anything else, especially an empath. It's just kind of a shut down kind of moment of things, a protection shield, as you may. Mm-hmm. But it's been quite a journey. When I finally realized, I want to say, excuse me, before I got further into my gifts and my abilities of the platform itself with the shop I used to work for, and then after that, another shop as well, doing Reiki energy work, healings, that I just realized I don't need to be on a fence. I just can be honestly just be myself.
Very
I have
important.
to prove, yeah, it is. Like, I don't have to prove anything to anybody at anyone. This is who I am, and that's it. Because each one of us, I truly believe, have a purpose. I feel that the rest of us that are still awakening have very much a lot of work to do out there. And it's a necessity to help others also show that, it's okay not to be okay. Whatever what it is, it shall be. That is how it is, how it goes. But they need to know. I've had some really great experiences with a lot of clients that's just been how it's interesting how if I, give them the sessions of the reading and then all of a sudden they have a message for me, which is so cool. Very cool indeed. Um, one of my other main vessels behind me is usually my great grandfather. Some can see him, some can't. Um, some are kind of terrified by him because he's pretty tall, and others are kind of like, oh, okay, cool, it's all right, it's okay. Especially when they're comfortable with their own abilities themselves, and they want. But also, I've read also too of people would never think could come see a, psychic, fortune teller, whatever they call us nowadays. Everything,
Mm-hmm.
everything. Miss Cleo, whatever.
Right.
Yeah, I know. I started over that one. I was like, really? Do I look what? Okay, whatever. Anyways, it started off basically when it comes to with particulars like just common regular folk. I mean, it could be a lawyer, an entrepreneur, a nurse, uh, law enforcement, all the whole 9 yards, the
Mhm.
whole 9 yards would come to me and say, hey, Lady Aubree, I need some help on clarifying this or that or anything else. The order I keep getting and the more in depth and deep of my own rituals, I should say, I do onto myself and call onto my ancestors, the further I can really tap in. And more especially when I'm very connected to the individual. And it just expands into resolving situations and things that are necessary, missing people, from also wondering who one's father or mother was, to the deepest, darkest. It all depends on the person themselves. The individual comes to me and they have that kind of trust and say, you know what, I can share this with you. You're not going to blab to anybody, and also I feel comfortable, which I get that a lot. They're like, it's so soothing when I hear you and like you talk to you and all that. That would be the Reiki kicking in. I think it also is a natural healing little thing too. I do. And they're like, I just want to stay in during the session. I'm like, nah, dude, you can't stay with me all day. But for us or anything else, did I was always a reader? No, no, I was, special education teacher assistant, home, stay home mom for 8 years, and um, just kind of it's always been with me. Well, I have so many talents, especially in the art, freehand painter and drawer, but I don't, publicize any of that too much. But I pretty much keep that stuff to a minimum.
Well, I've got a question for you.
Go
Um,
for it.
so, you mentioned like Miss Cleo. We've all seen the commercials, the 1-800 numbers you
Right.
call and you get some random person on the phone and, they're really there to take your money and tell you what they think you want to hear. Um,
Hmm.
what, what makes or sets you and your group apart from these people are obviously scamming people because there's
Yes, they
going to be
are.
skeptical people out there that can be like, yeah, I've been to these people and they tell me that I'm going to find my tall, dark, handsome stranger and money's going to fall out of the sky and all this stuff.
Right.
So, I mean,
Right.
what sets y'all apart? How can people know that they're really getting a reading?
The first thing is it depends on each individual when it comes to as far as the collective with the group who looked at my profile
Mhm.
and on my YouTube's one YouTube clip of the another group I was with, and I would do readings in person and on the phone. And second, um, it would be the reputation of the first institution, especially I worked for,
Mhm.
where yeah, it's a witchy store and all that other jazz, whatever, but it's open-minded to interpretation. It's open to everyone. I know no about religions or anything else. We're very much open and more. What tears me apart right off the bat is that I don't sugarcoat. And it said so in my profile, and they feel that about me, like the sternness and like, yeah, I'm not here to play games. And that'll be my introduction where it's not about games. How shall I phrase it? I basically, they'll do, and usually it's a lot of ones who are already are readers who come to me, and all they want is clarity. So what sets them apart is what happens is that they'll give me one word, one question, and then all of a sudden I'm in the zone. I love it when I do that, especially the skeptics. And when I'm in the zone, weir's in the zone. Sorry, my great grandfather was talking behind me. It's mind blowing. It's like, what the fuck? How did you know that? And it's like, it could be simple. Then that's when they release and say, all right, cool. I can ask you some other questions because this is awesome. Because each client I've had is all different. But I always get a lot of readers who will say, hey, I can't do my own readings and stuff like that. Can you clarify this for me?
Mm-hmm.
Can you clarify that for me? And I do. So that's what tears them differently. And they get the confirmations on themselves from the tinglings on down and everything else. And authentic, just basically being just myself. I don't do the whole, let's, do a certain seance before we go into the session. Hang on. No, I don't do all that.
Well, I've always been a skeptic when it's come to psychics and mediums and things like that.
What?
Yes, I just I always thought these people were scammers.
I'm not saying
Until
that they're dumb, but not of
oh
them
yeah,
are scammers. They definitely are.
but I guess what made me a believer is we have a medium that works with our paranormal group,
Mm-hmm.
and when I met her for the first time, she didn't know me from Adam. She knew
Nice.
nothing about me whatsoever. So even the person
Right.
that invited us to their house for this, reading party, this person didn't
Mm-hmm.
even know me. I just
Yes.
knew them through somebody else. So
Right.
they hadn't talked about me or anything like that. In fact, I wasn't originally there to get a reading. The lady just turns to me and starts telling me things that there's absolutely no way she could have known unless I had told her. I mean,
That's right.
I'm blown away.
That's
Um,
right.
but I, always had that in the back of my mind. You see the TV shows with the profilers, and you know
Mm-hmm.
they're able to pick up on certain things, and the certain ticks and
Mm-hmm.
eye movements or body movements, and know if they're stringing this person along, if they're on the right direction.
Right.
So, I mean, unless you have an experience like I had with the
Mm-hmm.
medium that I told you about, some people have no idea if they're being played or not. And I mean, I hate to harp on that, but
Oh, it's okay. It's
you know,
perfectly fine.
I wanted to reassure people that there are people out there with gifts, and they
Mm-hmm.
they can read you. Um, and some of them are even able to predict things that are going to happen, and
Yeah.
I've seen it myself.
Yeah.
I want people to know who they can go to, who they can trust, and who are the
I
scammers.
I am one of those right there. It will take, just like recently I had actually three clients that came and I had read for them in 6 years and each prediction came to light. Um Accuracy with me um is pretty perceptive. Am I always perfect? No, I'm human. But the thing about me too, as me as on the other side of a psychic or medium, I've been through the same thing. I was like, all right, I want to see what you know.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see exactly, and that's actually how I end up with the first, group that they were like, it was one of the called, I feel ashamed, they call it frequent flyers. As, just having an obsession of everything, of the unknown, the dark, the whatever. But that's just me and my personality. A flight of two, but all of it. But then, yeah, just I would even get that, like, if you take the bus or whatever, and you did just pick up and they turn to you and say da 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 da. I'm like, yes, thank you. That was a message from a powers to be, or wherever, whatever your beliefs are. That's exactly what I needed. And also my experience too is like the ones where I've gone to their homes. They don't overcharge. That's the key. I've always told my clients, I'm like, look, they're gonna charge you 600 for bring that true love back. It's a lie. Don't do
Mm.
it. Don't do it. I'm telling you now, I was experienced with myself because I've done stupid stuff like that, like an idiot, and I end up broke and there's nobody there. So that's a key. And that's my experience too. And my mom's experience too, where they've come to, or somebody would tell her, she ended up going to their house and they would just lay everything out to the form of, for her, she's a Virgo, terror. But at the same time, for me, it's not. I am intrigued by it, you
Mm.
know, just knowing, and that's what pretty much where I am. I come from old school.
Hmm.
My ancestors, my great grandfather, great grandmother, especially, were coming from a system where back in that time, in that day of their ages, they couldn't, and this is all on my mom's side. My mom, basically, everyone is basically a seer or healer or something, as you will. But lately, when I go back to the original question you were asking, why I'm the one that's carrying the torch, it just seems like everybody's kind of like, okay, it's all too much. It's too much to take on these each individual's energies, and people who want to hurt you, which we're kind of accustomed and used to, going in
Yeah.
and out of the shop and everything else, shielding and protecting ourselves. These key things that I would give them that they need to know on a major basis, because they come from, not everybody comes from a happy-go-lucky family. Um, I
True.
sure didn't. But so we come from a situation where it's like, hey, I feel you. And I read from people from even all walks of life, including the ones, believe it or not, which my aunt was in shock one time. And she's like, well, they go to church. Why are they coming to see you? I said, because they want to know. And they have their own reasons to know. What's wrong with that? Just because they go to an institute doesn't mean, that's it's wrong for them to get some form of clarity on themselves and to make them feel at ease. But I also reassure and let my clients know too, I'm no Messiah. Don't get that mixed up. I'm only a vessel. That's all. That's it.
So, how are you able to connect with people that aren't in the room with you? Because you got somebody that calls you on the phone, or like we're doing a Zoom call. How is, or is it possible for you to make that connection?
How I make the connection basically is just this. I did a couple of readings, for example, on Instagram, and I pretty much do cleansing of the cards. Tarot mostly people want from me. It's understandable. And then they send out their questions. And then I just get into my quiet space, ask for also not only my ancestors, but Archangel Michael to protect and shield their reading, because sometimes that can be an interference that comes
Hmm.
through, which is not pretty, but it happens occasionally. And then I just start to climb into, it's like going into this whole dark hole within, and I just tap right into their energy and their mind, and it's like the essence of their soul, and it just comes to me. I know that sounds cliche, but it's just how I work. It's just the knowing, which people have known, I'm sure is called Chris, clairsentient or something as well. But it's just a no. But also, I call also being an empath. You know, um, most empaths all are all different. But with me, with my being an empath, a Scorpio, at that, whew, I mean, it's taken me to certain places and spaces where sometimes people don't want to hear what spirit to spirit has to say. Maybe that day, though, at the same time, they needed to hear that.
Hmm.
And it brings them at ease. And they just start crying or laughing or just, especially just a calm, some form of any signs that gives them some form of hope, which is the key. And that's what I'm here for, basically. I'm here to help. I'm not here to basically rip you off. I'm not here to basically steal from the people or anything like that. It's never been, it's never been for where I'm coming from, my partake at all. I can't speak for others. All I can know is that I'm just me. I love what I do. And it's fun. It really is in my own world, and also it helps for me to being around the paranormal field as well as a kid too. So a lot of things like those experiences would happen to me quite often, and even to this day, in my own way, I have visitations that come through, and I'm like, okay, let's do boundaries. You're not waking me up
Yeah.
at 3 a.m. in the morning. We're not doing this. It's not happening. So I'm popping some sleeping pills and extra ones. Unfortunately, that's what the way the world is now. I'm like, woo, pop, no, no, get back to me, please. Thank you. Because when I first started with reading professionally and licensed, it got to be overwhelming. Ooh, I mean, like they kept coming and kept coming and kept coming. I'm like, no, you guys can't do this. You got to let me breathe. So I was like, the spirit, can you please back off just a little bit, just a tiny bit? Just okay, thank you. Now I can function in the real world of logic and in the invisible as it may. So yeah.
So you use different tools with your readings.
Hmm.
Is there a preference, or is it just kind of you got to feel out, who you're talking to on which tools that you use?
No, there's no preference at all. Um, Usually how I work is basically they will give me the questions and actually I just zoom into, and that's usually using no tools. Um, and they're like, whoa. And then I'm like, okay, then after the second or third question, I'm like, okay, let's show you your spread. Um, in person, it's kind of different where they go ahead and it's kind of the same way, but at the same time, the demand of it is like, let me see my cards now. And it's understandable. I get pushy. I get very pushy. They're like, hi, you're supposed to read. No, 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 no. And that's when I kind of redirect professionally and say, okay, well, this is how we read. So let's do this, shall we? Okay, yeah, okay. Because you kind of have the ones that kind of come in and like want to take over your field, and you as a business person is like, I can't let you do that. That's not happening. So let's redirect, and this is how the etiquette that we accept, and especially we'd have policies prior to, and no matter where I read for, they'd have the same thing to protect our rights as readers, healers, everything else, and at the same time reminding people too. At the same time, also, uh, most of it for me, also for other individuals, it's entertainment purposes. It's fun. It's fun. I mean, for me, it's like in a way Halloween. 365 days. It's just cool as heck. I love it. I can't get enough of talking about all kinds of things that even people are think to this day are extremely taboo about it, but I don't mind. I don't mind at all.
Well, aren't there times where you just want to shut it all off and just take a break from it?
I did. Yeah, let's go into that, please. Thank you for asking that question. Because you know what? I've read for so long that I actually shut down in 2018, like full blown. I'm burned out. I'm done. I can't do this. And people were like, where did she go? She came back in the shop and she quit 3 times. What's happening? And it's like, yeah, it can be overwhelming because after you take in the shield, keep that, it's exhausting to keep the shield up and places and even at your own home they're doing the readings, and then after that it's exhausting to keep that shield and that protection up, and then I'm doing that Epsom sea salt. Yeah, and I did, I call it, for all of us experience that, what's called the burnout. Like,
Yeah.
okay, let me reset, let me find myself, let me find other abilities of what else my especially ancestors want me to know and be of, to before I leave this plateau on this planet, what I gotta do, or what they sent me here for in the first place. And yeah, 2008 for me. So actually, I was just 18. Excuse me. I just totally shut everything out. I couldn't do it. I was like, I'm so done.
Yeah, you're not the first person that has abilities that said that. We have a
Mm-hmm.
friend of ours that it just seems like every once in a while she just doesn't answer any text messages or phone
Mm-hmm.
calls or anything. It's just like, leave me alone. I don't want to be around anybody. I need to find myself again. And I mean,
Yeah.
personally, I don't know what that feels like. I'd like to, have somebody explain it to me so I can say, okay, I get it. Now I know why I need to step away from this person for a little while. They'll come back when they're ready, you know?
Yeah. I would do that with ones if I feel that the individual would befriend me, and then they start asking and asking. And then
Mm-hmm.
after that, they just all they talk to me about is asking, and they'd ask me about my real name, Brett. Hey, can you, no, 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 and no. Because after a while, it becomes abuse
Mm-hmm.
for a lot of us. And I'm not just speaking just as a reader, just as a person of empath or in their abilities and gifts and everything else. Just being a person in general, that's abuse and it's manipulation. And then, yeah. Um, I call it with me. I shut down in like 3 days, and I'm in like in a fetal position in the
Gotcha.
bed. Like I gotta shut it down. But 2018 was my basically big year where I've read so long and even covered and helped others who called out, and everything else and more. And then turned out after that, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Not even the Reiki. I'm all burned out, even with healing. Yeah. It gets to a point where if you don't, to me, the universe will shut you down. And I'm a big believer of that. Whereas, like, if you don't take care of you, they're going to shut you down. It's like, okay, keep telling you. Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Well, I
And then,
noticed this person. They had a particular friend that
mhm.
was always inviting them over, but as soon as they came over, it was almost like, hey, this is my dog. Now I'm going to show you how. They're going to do a trick for you. And
Right.
hey, read this person, read this person, read this person. Hey, can you tell me about this? Can you tell me about that? Like,
Yeah.
I get you. I could see how somebody would be. Oh, this is my free link to the other side.
Yeah. It's like kind of like moth to a flame. Like after that, it's like, and I would get that a lot. Um, I can't speak for other readers, but I would seriously get that where people are like, oh, I can always go to Lady Aubree and, just, ask her this and that, and she won't mind. And I have known, prior, friends who have come and gone in this system itself, where literally they were so giving, so loving, to the point where they would give them their cell number. And there they are giving free readings. And I mean, no, there's got to be a boundary.
Oh
It's
yeah.
like, no, you got to go home. You can't keep, because after a while, it takes a toll. It's like mind over matter, the whole body itself. I'm a really firm believer of that. Like, if we don't take care of yourself here, it all shuts down, especially with stress and all and more. All of it, yeah, basically.
Well, I wouldn't want to make anybody feel like I was using them. So, I mean, we met. It's been a few days since we
Yes,
met,
it
but
has.
I've not wanted to ask you to give me a reading or anything,
I'm waiting for
because
you to.
you know I'm open to it, but I'm not. I don't want to take advantage of a friendship. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
I mean, for show purposes, if you want to, that's great. If you don't, that's cool too. You know.
No,
Um,
it's actually it's different with you and beautiful your
oh,
wife. Just go. It's now you are. I've never met anyone like the two of you. Without you, again, is such an honor to be on your show. Um, it's different with everybody. Now, I'm not saying that everybody's like comes and ask, about which there are others, but when I got in touch with, you and your wife, wow, like you guys, you're my kind of peeps. I can't explain it. I am so excited to go further into the friendship and the professional with you guys because yeah, I don't mind at all. No, seriously. And it's others where you just know that they're not legit. You know what I'm saying? And you're stellar.
oh,
You are
thank
beyond
you,
more than yeah, you're king.
thank you,
Seriously.
thank you,
I
thank
brought
you.
that to you. I know, seriously. You guys are the creme of the creme. I'm sorry.
Thank
You
you.
know it. You've had experiences, you've been there, you've done that, and so much more. So no, please. So I was like, when is he gonna ask? When's you gonna ask? Say something. Keep me
Well,
sharp. Keep me sharp here, man.
I hear you. Well, we opened up this platform so people that are in the paranormal field, whether they're investigators or mediums, you know,
Hmm.
we just want to get the word out there so people know who they are, that
Hmm.
they can utilize their services. You
Hmm.
never know. You need to call up Lady Aubree because I need to find out about such and such.
Yeah.
Not for free, people. I'm telling you, not for free. But
Yes.
there's those paranormal investigators out there. They're itching for that next investigation, but if people don't
Oh
know who they
yeah.
are,
Yes.
you know. So that's what we're here for. We're here to help people as much as we can, and I appreciate you taking your time to be on the show.
No, thank you. Thank you. That's one of my favorites though. Big time though. When it comes to the paranormal though. Oh yeah. Those big questions. And I want more of those actually. I'm not saying that the other questions are not, but I just love the other ones where it's like, whoa, let's see how far, that with these abilities I can go, which is so mind blowing. And I actually I call it evolving with a migraine in a particular place. It's like here, and then it's on the pineal gland, and it's right there where all of a sudden just certain things started coming to me more, and it's like, wow. I mean, I know I sound like an alien, but yeah, I've experienced all of it. Yeah, you're like, yeah, it's you. Yeah, she is.
She's woo.
Woo-hoo. Yeah, I know. I'm cuckoo, cuckoo.
One
That's for
flew over
sure.
the cuckoo's nest.
That's right. I'm proud of it.
We're all a little bit on that side in the paranormal field. So
I just feel like that's part of our abilities, though, too, to see and sense and feel, especially when they know between the veils, hey, they can see me, they can hear me. I like that. Let me go ahead and talk. Love it.
okay,
Love it.
I'm gonna ask you another question because
Okay.
I had a medium on the show,
Hmm.
and she said I see somebody behind you, and I mean, do you when you're talking to people like that, do you notice like a spirit or something behind people?
I do. I usually do. Yeah. Um,
Do I have an audience back here?
no,
Or...
Kyle. No, Kyle. Great grandpa mommy said, you're closed off today. You're good.
Okay.
I wouldn't have told you that in the beginning. I was like, somebody's there. Oh, you gotta nope, not sensing anything. That's cool.
Hey,
You're good.
that's all right. That means I can get naked and change clothes. So
There you go. There you
yep, stay
go.
out of my room. I'm changing.
There you go. You're too much.
You know, we take what we do seriously, but
Yes, we
we
do.
love to joke around. It's
Mm-hmm.
just part of who we are. We don't take ourselves seriously. Let's put it that way.
No, we don't. We need to.
We do, but we need to have a good time because
Yeah, we do.
sometimes this field can be stressful. It can be
Mm-hmm.
dangerous at times. Um,
Yes.
I can't tell you how many times that I've been to an investigation where something has attached itself to someone and caused pain.
Yes.
I've
Oh yeah.
experienced it. And then you have the mediums that, they're being attacked, while
Yes.
they're on the investigations and they're having to deal with different types of entities and they're even demonic things, and it's dangerous at times. You know, I'm one. I don't care. I like going out and exploring the unknown, and if I get hurt, I get hurt. So, oh, we're frozen. We're frozen.
Are you there?
I'm there. Well, I don't know what
Yeah, you
happened.
froze up. We froze up.
Yeah, and it's still recording, so we can keep going.
Okay, sweet.
All right, but yeah, I I for one am one of those kind of people that I get on an investigation and I want something to attack me. I want that experience. And it's dangerous. I don't recommend it, but I
Yeah,
just
I agree. But I'm the same way where it's like, yeah, I need something to happen. I need something. And I've had plenty of times of I totally been there, done that. I'm sure definitely I've been there with you where yeah, attachments, attachments, attachments. Um, clients, indirectly, especially the ones where I am the biggest, like they would say, call me like, she's such a baby. Well, now we can't hug because of the pandemic, but I always, hey, hug, and like, yeah, the people are like, no, Aubree, no, what's wrong with you, man? You're so stupid. You're just taking in more of all of their, mojo and stuff and all the other stuff. Don't do that.
now
And I'd be like, oh, and come home with whatever else wrapped around behind my neck or feeling something here in the heart. And I know it's not belonging to me.
hmm
So that's what I would do, you know, Palo Santo and sage, Epsom sea salt with my stones, whatever it takes. Um, you know, um, reading of Psalms, my grandmother was a huge thing about Psalms because Psalms, people don't think so. I'm not trying to get religious on people. I know they're going to hate this part. Hear me out. Is one of the powerful things every now and then, right there. Words. It all depends on how you use it. Um, but there's some key things in there too that they can use, but also just basically being connected. I want to say basically with source, being the person that they need to be, keeping themselves, especially when it comes out that ego straight, because that's what mostly gets most of us in trouble, including myself, yours truly. I always get slapped in the face with karma, like, oh yeah, you did that.
hmm
You're gonna pay for it. Here you go. What'd you do? You said this. Oh, okay. You had
yeah,
a bad day. You take it out in the public. There you go. Then they knock me down, and I get it.
I
And
can
I'm
tell legit folks that are mediums that whenever we go to an investigation, and I've worked
mm-hmm,
with several different mediums, there are those that it's like a cookie cutter type situation that every time you want to get rid of something, it's the same thing. Oh, you got to do, all you need is sage, a little bit of holy water, and everything will be fine.
no, leave a little bit more of that, a little bit deep
Not,
more.
yeah, not all of them are going to be the same.
No, we're not. Yeah. And that's the thing too that I have and the beginnings of reading professionally that they would always think, she's gonna say, but I'd say something completely different. I'm like, whoa, I wasn't expecting that. It's like, yeah, it's not always about that because sometimes it's not about sage palo santo, um, crucifixes, holy water, any of that. You're gonna take some other things techniques and special people, such as
Hmm.
yourself and others, to really maintain and cleanse out and do the real deals to
Yeah.
get rid of things, especially when they're so fond of one's essence of their soul and want to stay there for a long, long time. And making the person as a shell, kind of like, basically, I want to say a parasite,
Yeah.
detach themselves to the individual and then not don't want to leave. And it's like, no, you got to let me go. Can't do it. You got to go. You're making me miserable. People on the outside of our shell that we live in here, we're placed in, start to look kind of woof, rough around the edges after a while. And it's like, no, there's something I got to do. And that's
Hmm.
why we got to keep always, especially to our higher consciousness as much as possible. Keep it as positive as you can. Easy said than done, especially in
Yes.
this new era we're in. Easy
Yeah,
said than done.
for
Where
sure.
people are drinking, I understand that, smoking, whatever your preference is. But keep in mind too, I always tell my clients when you start doing that consistently, those especially particular darker forces know. They know because this here over our heads is a dome right here, all right here. And all it takes is that little black mist to come right through and just sneak up on you, like a thief in the night, and just turn the person's persona, the personality, everything about them completely different into
Hmm.
something that other people don't even recognize and said, "Are you okay, man? Shit. Hey, are you all right? What's happening? What's going on?" And then that's where we need to say, okay, if I'm getting a lot of people asking me this, I gotta start checking myself. I gotta start bettering myself and taking care of me, my health. So
Hmm.
that's where it starts from too, because I come from like a whole range of things, and it's not just spiritual. It's about what we do with our temples itself, and that's the key. And I'm a firm believer of that, especially having in the blood too as well. As far as individuals coming from, from my grandfather, my dad's side, making moonshine, tub, drinking is profit. So that's in my blood and lying, and then others, of course, with drug addictions and such, and everything else, which on my dad's side being in the entertainment world, coming from New York, yeah, and my mother from Chicago for 2 years, and then after that, Pennsylvania, yeah, Pittsburgh. Yeah, it's pretty intense. It is, but I'm kind of like the element of surprise. I love the surprises, though. That's the best thing. I don't know. I know I sound like a real sick person right now at this point, but I'm loving it when it comes to like, hey, whoo, come out. Because I had have some experiences as a kid, even as a teenager, where I'd have things floating around. I'll give an example. I took a class with a group that's no longer connected with each other. They dismantled them a long time ago. But the yoga instructor is very much there in some parts of Vegas and still in good standing. He's a great person. And I took one of his classes, best. It was a Kundalini yoga class. I know I sound cheesy now. You're like, oh gosh, sound one of the new ages. Somebody talk me into it. Don't start. Don't start. Don't start. Anyways, I got talked into his class. It's supposed to be minimum of 15. Mind you, the class feels like a walk-in closet, the room itself, right? Uh, why I come in there all of a sudden, my friend of mine named Jacqueline came in and there's 30 of us.
Wow.
30. Okay. So come in there in the class and all of a sudden there's too many of us. One. Number two, the capacity of even the gong itself, is taking up one side of the room. Three, me and also I don't know if any others, but I sure was. I was on the one side where my eyes, for a fact, our sides were a certain color. I kid you not. You can't make this stuff up, seriously. And while I'm looking at the others just directly in front of me, their eyes are red, like we're seeing each other, really seeing.
Wow.
Not good faces either. Like you see me and I see you. Stay in your lane. And then I came out and I was so nauseous and sick because I realized, okay, one, there's too many people in there, and two, I have taken in everything home with me. My twins were about 9 or 10 at the time, and then all of a sudden, whatever I brought with me came through, and I was sitting down fixing them, and I fixed them dinner, and I sat down. All of a sudden, they turned their head about just the same time as I did, and there's this hooded individual floating right through the front door, and then all of a sudden going through the kitchen into the laundry room, and my twin said simultaneously, turned to me like, "Mom, what'd you do? What'd you do now?" They're so cute because kids, especially, they're smart, especially our old souls, But that kind of energies and those kinds of experiences, and I could just go on and on of all kinds of experiences I've had. Um, yeah, they're kind of scary at times, but they're just so fascinating to me. I just started, lighting some incense and just kind of like, okay. And then in talking, I started just talking to that individual, asking them what they wanted, things and such, and what can I do? And then they were on their way. The next day, they were gone.
Wow.
Yeah,
Man. Well, if people don't realize this, that you can actually manifest things
yes, you
through
can.
your
Thoughts.
your thoughts and your emotions and things like that.
That's
I, I
right.
s- I actually saw this experiment where this group had just made up a story. They totally
Yeah.
made up a story, and they said it out loud at this place that was known to be haunted, and was
Hmm.
able to actually get EVPs responding to the questions for something that they made up.
Yes.
So that, yeah, that this can happen. So think good thoughts. That's what I say.
I
Think good
agree.
thoughts, say good
Think good
words,
thoughts.
and take good
Yes.
actions.
That's right. Because what you say and what you feel and think is a major, especially if they're
Mhm.
harsh intentions directed, the person being jealous or envy or whatever, um, it goes into the ether. And people don't realize that it turns into something else. And it
Yeah,
turns into something extremely dark, extremely, um, it depends on that individual, how far they want to take it. And the thing is about me that sometimes awakened or non-awakened, they don't even realize it. They don't even realize it. But yeah, I agree with you 200%. It is all about the thoughts, the intentions, and what you really want to, you know, have for you, for your highest, best interest, your highest good. You know, to each his own, to anyone else who wants to do something to provoke or manipulate, and they shouldn't do that. Especially, I'm a really, really a big stickler when it comes to people who don't have respect for the spiritual or the dead.
exactly. Exactly.
I have a really bad thing about that's like one of my pet peeves, as I call them. Sometimes it's grave dancers and that kind of thing and manipulation. And it's like, I was raised where, you know what, you can't keep doing that kind of stuff. Things that you can't even explain to a person, they're not going to be able to, they're going to look at you and start laughing at you and like, ah, man, you're crazy, man. Have another smoke, man. Have another beer, dude. you're, you're hallucinating. No, no, they're not.
Mhm.
No, it's very much real. And
Yes.
they sure do believe in us. That's for sure. That's my experience. And it still is to this day.
Well, I always say be respectful of those that have passed on, um,
Absolutely.
and be careful what you ask for because you might get it.
Just get it. Mm-hmm. Be careful what you wish for.
You know, and as we talked about before off air,
Mm-hmm.
as a collective in this world, if we all came together with those positive thoughts, we can
Yes.
make a change in this world. But
Yes, we can.
it's too many negative things going on to keep us from doing that, and it's
Yeah.
sad because we might get that utopia that we always wanted if we would just think positively.
Yeah, it's I was asked by two clients. It's been a while. They asked me that because I want to say about a month ago, that in January this year, and saying, "Hey Aubree, you think 2022 might be?" And all I could tell them basically was like, we're getting there. I know, and there's no promises, and I'm always just straight with people because I remember just being forewarned about what we're experiencing now. But did I ever think it would be to this capacity, to a pandemic, to a shutting down, to I can go on and on about? No.
Hear you.
All I was told, basically, from my own ancestors and other readers to readers, especially in the shops and outside the shops, and people giving you that message or whatever out of nowhere. You don't know them, but they turn that and give you that message because you need to be there. You need to hear it because people, I'm a firm believer, meet each other for a reason,
That's
even
the
as
way
far
I
as that
feel.
split 2nd.
Hmm.
And we'll sit there and they're like, no, you need to keep that mind. They're saying body and that soul really strong because we're up for a real ride. I'm still thinking that. I remember in 2007, 2006. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, no, it's coming. There's a lot going on. You have no idea.
Hmm.
And those others who were like more further into their gifts than I was at the time were like, okay, that's nice.
Well,
And then bam, there's things going on now right now.
we will never get ahead and go forward if we're walking backwards. That's all I gotta say about that. You know.
That's right. That's right.
So this has been wonderful. I
Thank
want
you.
people to know how to get a hold of you. So you got a website, social media that people can contact you.
They can contact me on Instagram under the username is Aubree of Source
Aubree of
Tarot.
Source Tarot. Okay.
Tarot. Absolutely on Instagram. Once on that Instagram, that leads them to different websites right there from there to just click on and then, or even leave even a DM, a message or anything else. And then we'll have another page actually that I need to finish off and give to the public as well. And that's how they can reach me. Absolutely.
Well, in the description of this
And that's on
video
Instagram.
on Instagram,
Mhm.
in the description of this video, I want to leave the links so people can go to and be able to connect with you. Uh,
Okay.
you are a sweet soul. I'm so glad
No,
that we
thank
met.
you. So am I. I love you guys. You're awesome.
You know, everything happens for a reason.
Yes, it does.
You had just sent me a simple little message of, thanks for following, and then that led to me messaging you, and then here we are, and we
Hmm.
we made a friend, and
Yes.
um, that's what we need more of. We need
Yeah, we
people.
do.
We need people to reach out and just get to know people.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well, I'm so glad that I got to meet you, and
Same here.
I I I, I can't tell you how much it means for you to be here.
No,
And
I'm very honored. Thank you. Thank you for having me, my friend.
well,
Thank you.
I'm glad you lowered your standards to be on the show.
Oh, stop it. Oh, no. You know what? I'm going to say for you, cancel, clear, because you're wrong for that. You have no idea. See, and your wife even keeps telling you this. You have no idea of the power that you hold within you.
Thank
You're
you.
up for a huge treat, especially for this year. Come on.
Thank you. Thank you.
So you and I are gonna talk. We're gonna talk. We're gonna work on that because you keep saying that a lot. I'm like, no, you keep saying to the
I
ether, I'm not
I
worthy, and that's not gonna happen.
I
I
told you
guarantee it.
I can't take myself seriously. I have to joke around. So
I know, but that part right there, yeah, my great granddad's like saying no. We gotta fix that.
well, I hear you. But I also have to thank our audience because without y'all, we couldn't do what we
Thank
do.
you.
And please, like I said, I will leave the description in the descriptions how to get a hold of you. And I
Yes.
totally recommend that if you're listening to this, you're watching this on YouTube or Rumble or Odyssey, that you reach out and you connect with this wonderful human being.
Thank
Thank you
you.
again.
Thank
And
you.
Till the next one.
Paw boy.
Thank you for joining us on Into the Pit. Please follow us on Facebook at The Vibes Broadcast Network and Instagram at The Vibes Broadcast.